I recently released version 1.1 of my AWS AllowList tool, which is a simple tool allowing you to adjust EC2 security groups on the fly to allow you to connect via SSH to EC2 instances. Before I show off any of the new features, let me start with a caveat. If you know you're going to need to connect to private compute resources inside AWS, there are lots of ways to do that. It's definitely worth looking at built-in AWS tools like VPN, EC2 Instance Connect, and Systems Manager, Session Manager. AWS AllowList is simple. It lets you quickly add and remove IP addresses and IP address ranges to a security group, typically to allow you to connect over SSH to an EC2 instance. This is particularly useful if you have a VPC with private resources and a bastion host that's publicly accessible. If you're always working from the same place with a static external address, you might simply allow list that address. However, if you find yourself working in different locations, or if your IP address changes, many home IP addresses are dynamically allocated, you might need to maintain this list. Sure, you can do that manually, but AWS AllowList makes that easier. When I first needed something to fill this space, I was working on a project in a single VPC, so I could populate an environment variable with the security group ID and be done. In later projects, there have been situations where there was dynamically created security groups, and looking up the security group ID each time was a pain. So AWS AllowList now lets you search for security groups by name instead, including wildcards. This makes it a lot easier to adjust one of several security groups by security group name. Similarly, over time, I found I might forget to remove a CIDR block that I had added earlier, and it wasn't always easy to tell which ones I'd added. So I extended AWS AllowList to display and add descriptions to each rule so that I'd have an easier time cleaning up past entries. How are you connecting to your EC2 instances? Let me know in the comments. See you next time.